welcome. This is episode 50 of So Well Spoken. This is a special edition podcast where we are going to spoil the shit out of Black Panther. So if you have not seen Black Panther, stop listening to the podcast right now. Immediately stop what you're doing and go watch Black Panther and then come back to the podcast. So it's been a couple days since all of us have seen it. Have you seen it more than once at this point? Angelus, you were at 2 last time.
I'm still at 2. I'm probably going to go see this Friday, actually, so, yeah.
That was Dreams, just so everyone's aware.
Dreams is back, everybody.
See, what had happened was...
Welcome back, people? Dreams.
I appreciate it.
So, you've obviously seen the movie, right?
I've seen it once. I had intended to see it again yesterday. I wound up diverting and seeing Annihilation instead. But I definitely intend to see it again probably this week, maybe this weekend at the latest.
Well, I've seen it twice. And for me, easily one of the better Marvel movies.
I have it duking out number 1 with Winter Soldier, sorry.
What percentage of the audience for you guys dressed up?
For me, it's probably like 30% maybe. Yeah, honestly, I couldn't really tell because a lot of the people that were at my theater, some were East African. So, you know, like some of them actually just wear that shit daily. So I didn't know who was wearing it like as like their daily attire versus who was like, yo, I'm showing out for Black Panther. I was just like, okay, there's a lot of folks dressing up. I will say that my theater was like predominantly black in a way I've never seen before. I was like, damn, I didn't know there's many black people even here. So that was pretty lit.
I saw it on Friday morning after it premiered. And one of the coolest things about the showing that I caught was there were a few parents who were there with their kids. Like they took their kids out of school to go see Black Panther at like 10 a.m.
Oh boy.
It's good parents. Right? Good parents, man.
There's nothing you can't learn in Black Panther.
Killmonger was right. Kids can learn that.
Let's talk about Killmonger.
Yes, he was a tragic character, man. He was just misunderstood. Dude, he deserved better, damn it. I understood his passion. His methods were questionable, but then again, he was raised by white folks in the military. So what could you do right there, you know? But his heart was in the right place.
Why didn't they just bring the boy home?
Was it really in the white place?
Look at this guy. Damn colonizer sympathizer over here.
But no, it's not even that. It's like I'm starting to view him after I've marinated in the movie for a few weeks. I'm starting to realize
we just watched it. What are you talking about? A few weeks. It just premiered last
like
weekend. What are you talking?
1 week.
You sure?
Yeah, Mike. What are you talking about, Mike? We just started this podcast this Monday. Oh. Movie came out Friday.
Yeah, sure.
It's been a long month, fam. I feel you.
Yeah, But fuck continuity. It's just like it's not he's not sympathetic or anything, or that his heart wasn't in the right place. I felt like he was using that rhetoric to push his homicidal and pretty much like toxic masculine like agenda to just get revenge on everybody. It's like it's less heart in the right place and more just like, oh, you using the one thing we can all attach to and agree with to do your own bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was right for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, exactly. Which is key for a lot of good villains is that they'll pull you in with good rhetoric, and that's why. And it also makes you understand how people can fall for just like evil people in general. You know what I mean? When they're attached to your cause or whatever, you know, and you see them like doing more and doing what you feel like you need to be doing or whatever. It's easy to get attached. It's easy to be like, dang, he right. Yeah. Even though you know in the back of your head he's probably doing some really fucked up shit. It's like immediately your immediate reaction is that, damn, he right though. You know, and Killmonger was right about a lot of stuff, but at the end of the day, he's just a weapon of America. You know, he's a person that comes in, takes over, changes the regime, and probably leaves or dies and is fucked up after that. You know what I mean? That was his entire mission, regardless of how he put it or how he wanted to, make it seem to everybody else. That was his mission. and it's always been his mission since he got indoctrinated by by America, which is sad. And that's the sad part of his character, is that he's not just a radical. That's why I wouldn't really compare him to like Magneto. Well, yeah, I wouldn't compare him to like Magneto or Malcolm X. No, I wouldn't. It's a terrible comparison.
Really? I mean, Magneto didn't want to kill the human race.
Well, yeah, he wanted to kill the human race because he thought he was like superior.
But he also wanted a place for his fellow mutants to live without prejudice and judgment.
But Killmonger just didn't want that. He just wanted revenge.
I mean, that's basically what Magneto wants. He's pretty much told you flat out, I want revenge against humans for the mistreatment of mutants for the past some odd hundreds of years.
I don't know. I think with Magneto, for me, is more like mutant supremacy more than anything else.
I feel like you sympathize with Magneto, but you don't sympathize with Killmonger. Why you like this, fam?
What am I saying? No, I don't. I don't sympathize with Magneto at all. Because for one, I hate that Malcolm X Magneto comparison. That shit's whack as fuck. It's stupid. And it's the same for Killmonger. Killmonger is just pretty much a weapon at this point, and that's the sad part about him. He is a weapon of the colonizers, of the people he hates, deep down, the people he wants to be against or whatever, and yet he's just still a tool for them, regardless. Even without America really knowing what Wakanda is really about, he's still a tool for them to upset people and upset regimes or whatever that may can end up better than them or can end up outdoing them. That was America's MO for most of the Cold War, you know what I mean? And a little bit, and before that, So it's like he is America pretty much, but it's just like he's tied up with being a Black American as well, and that's the part that hurts, because a lot of us are in that position. We're Black Americans. We've been oppressed by this system, but we also contribute to it without even really realizing it. You know what I mean? And that's a tragic part of his character. Not that he was just right; it's the fact that he's us, but gone off the deep end, like the most hyperbolic version of us, pretty much. That's what makes him sympathetic. And that's after weeks of marinating on the shit.
That's one aspect of the movie that I really liked, that Coogler was able to cater to the Black American audience through Killmonger. Because I don't think I've seen a character that's a better symbol for Black America than Killmonger is, honestly.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
He's a really good avatar for what people see Black Americans to be.
Yeah.
What? You don't think it's Falcon with his wisecracks and saving the day at the last minute, helping the white man?
So
who?
Like
Falcon.
No, I know who you're talking about.
Damn. Yeah. No, he is. That's why I like it, and that's why I like his character so much. He's a complex character, and he kind of forces you to look at yourself in a way too, and kind of see how you're perpetuating the memes and perpetuating the same ideals and stuff like that we've inherited unwillingly from America, and he's just a really good complex character,
And you're right, it really does make you examine your own beliefs in a way that no Marvel movie really has forced me to.
Yeah,
because Killmonger, I feel like through a lot of the scenes in the film, you're almost rooting for him, and they have to throw in those curveballs, like when he attacks the woman in the garden, or when he downs his girlfriend like it's nothing.
Yeah, they had to. I mean, because if they didn't, then Killmonger would have been
too sympathetic.
Yeah, it'd be like, wow, he's having a villain anymore. Like, matter of fact, everybody else is a villain, so they had to give him some kind of visible, obvious, in your face flaw, so that you can look at him like, yo, this guy is actually not, this great guy. And that really comes to the surface in the third act. And it's like, oh, wow, act 1 and 2 is building up Killmonger. And you're like, yo, I really understand this guy. Yeah. Then act 3, it's like, yo, my man's crazy, fam. Like, this man gives no fucks about anybody. Okay, well, maybe.
When he say something, he mean that shit.
Yeah.
You heard him?
That scene, like, yo, when that happened in the
line for the movie.
I heard like there was these girls behind me. One of them went, "Ooh!" I was like, "Oh my god, here we go, here we go."
Damn, Michael B. Jordan, why you do that, man?
Bro, because like I was conflicted. I was like, "Yo," I wanted to laugh. I'm like, "Yo, he just choked out a woman with one hand." Like, But when he says do something, he means it. Like,
do that shit. Yeah, I didn't get taken out of the movie, but when he said it, I was like, damn, what is this? Does it turn into The Wire all of a sudden? Like, hold on. Like, whoa. Calm down, hardball. It's all right. Chill.
And in being in the theater, it made me like ask myself, like, would I be running up those rocks to blow on the horn and calling the rhinos to try and help Killmonger, or would I call it off?
I mean, at that point, I probably would have been like, man, you tripping, cuz like, like the world might be shit, but we're not about to destroy Wakanda, fam. Like, this is the only place we safe. Like, what is you doing, B? Nah, you gotta be stopped.
That could only end one way, even if no matter how it's like no matter how technologically advanced you are, like you bring the whole world against you, it's like, nah, dog, that ain't working out. Mm-hmm. So it was dope villain. Dope. I like Denai's reaction to when the plan or whatever. She was like, this nigga's out of his goddamn mind. Like, you see it in her face or whatever. So yeah, I love Killmonger. It's definitely, I hate they killed his ass off though, man. Damn, I hate they killed him off so bad. That's like I said, it's the one thing Marvel movies can just never do, and they just like keep the villains. The only villain we have is fucking Loki, and it's like, okay, shit. Like he actually,
and he's only a villain like half the time.
And you know what? He's the exact thing we were just talking about with Killmonger, how they made him they didn't make him too sympathetic. They make Loki way too sympathetic to the point where you're just like, okay, he's there. I mean, I enjoyed him in Thor Ragnarok or whatever and everything, but it's just like he's kind of run his course as a villain. It's like I can't take him seriously as a threatening villain anymore, even though he has the potential to be. He's not threatening to me anymore. It's like, all right, cool, whatever.
Yeah, at this point, Loki's basically just an anti-hero, man. Like,
yeah, he is. Since he's like every other anti-villain. But Killmonger could have been like a really good reoccurring villain outside of like Zemo from Civil War and Killmonger, thinking of them getting together or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, that would have been a good
segue for Black Panther too. Really, had those two together. But yeah, Marvel.
Yeah, Marvel. So, but he died in a really dope way. So I ain't
that quote though.
But that quote,
I was like, well, shit. Like the whole theater got silent. I was sitting behind these 4 girls from first generation Africans. One was Nigerian, 2 were Nigerian, Ethiopian, another one, and even they were. I was like, yep, that word just hit everybody in the theater. The only people who were like kind of even making any noise were, not unsurprisingly, these colonizers. Like, they were in the front somewhere. But everybody else was like dead silent, like, damn, he just said some real shit. I'm just like, yeah, this is a great movie. If this movie doesn't do well, I'm gonna like straight up whoop everybody. I'm just gonna catch flights everywhere and just start fighting people. Like, excuse me, did you watch the movie? No. Start swinging.
Well, we don't have to worry about that part anymore because it's for damn sure did well.
700 million. Second week.
Best one out the bunch, right? Out of like all of the Marvel movies?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's number 2 all time. So yeah, I mean, that's all movies.
And it hasn't opened in China or Japan yet.
Nope.
Yeah, they're gonna do the thing.
One thing I will say about Black Panther, I caught some flack at work when I said it, but I still stand by my statement. Is that
what you said?
I don't care about those people. They can catch feelings. I don't care. But I said it was that the representation of women in this movie, in my opinion, is way better than in Wonder Woman. And
caught flack for that?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, man, because all the women were black, so people really got upset. But
oh, okay.
Yeah. So like they were really upset. I'm the only black person in my job, so they were very upset when I said the statement. But the reason why I say that is, this is not to take away from Wonder Woman, because I can completely see and understand why women love Wonder Woman and the movie itself. But when you look at the character like Okoye, Nakia, and Shuri, they dominate their respective fields, and not only that, they are not questioned by men at any point in the movie. And in Wonder Woman, like the questioning of Wonder Woman and her abilities, things like that, is a reoccurring theme. They use it as comic relief and just to help show you who Wonder Woman is. In this movie, nobody questions the women. Like, the women just show you. They don't need to be, golden to showing you who they are, what their strength is. It's just shown to you right from the jump. You got Okoye, who's the general of the Dora Milaje, and nobody questions it. Nobody says, oh, how can a woman lead? Things like that. You got Nakia, who is a spy. Nobody goes, women can't be spies or women can't do X, Y, and Z. And you got Shuri, who's damn near basically the smartest person in Wakanda, and nobody questions the fact that the head of technology in Wakanda is a 16-year-old, is a girl. What they do question is the fact that she's 16, but they never judge her for being a girl or anything like that. And I think that's amazing. Like, they have their own autonomy, they have their own goals and their desires, and it's not subservient to any man in the film. Matter of fact, they make a point about that near the end with Okoye and W'Kabi. Like, W'Kabi's like, would you kill your own husband? And she's like, damn right, nigga. Like, you in the wrong. I need to protect my people. Like, you are in the way of protecting my people. So yes, I would drop you in a second. And like, I thought that was the dopest shit. And I was like, yo, like, the fact that the women were so different and they like necessarily had their own autonomy, I think that was just like one of the best parts of the movie, bar none.
I agree.
Agree with all that too. And since we're here, I figure, and talking about Black Panther, I might as well give my own personal account experience of seeing the film for the first time. I went on, I guess it was opening night, Thursday night. And as you can imagine, just like we saw on Twitter, our people were out in full kente cloth and dashikis and all the goods. I was no exception, as I have my Maiden Mali scarf on and my camo fatigues and my I Met God She's Black t-shirt on. And I was feeling good about myself and about the whole experience. Obviously, everybody that was there was excited to be there. Nothing but laughs when we were supposed to be laughing and emotions, throughout the experience, I think, for everybody that was in the house. And, without touching on things that have already been covered, Latita was just, is that her name? Latita, is that how it's pronounced? Latita, right?
Yeah.
Shuri? Letitia? Is that how her name is pronounced?
Letitia. Oh, I got it.
Okay. Shuri. I'm just going to say Shuri.
Just, yeah.
Shuri, she really stole the show. She brought so much unexpected energy.
She really did.
To the film. It's one thing that I have noted or noticed over time with the Marvel films in particular, is that oftentimes the comedy is just sort of really on the nose. It's almost unnecessary at times. It's heavy-handed. And I have found that's taken away a lot of my enjoyment for the Marvel films over time. Mm-hmm. First impression was always kind of cool, but thinking about going to see some of those Marvel movies again, nah, I'm kind of good. But this one, the comedy felt well placed. It felt timely, and she was usually involved in those moments, in those times. The crack about the sneakers, all of those, everything it just felt so good. Like I really look forward to seeing her in future movies, Marvel or otherwise.
Yeah, she definitely need to meet Tony Stark. That's all.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I look forward to seeing her meet Tony. I'm sure that's got to happen. If that wasn't planned before, I'm sure they're planning it right now.
They have to have her clowning him too at some point, please.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that I look forward to the most coming out of Black Panther, and what it's doing for what it's like actively in the process of doing for not just Black actors and actresses in Hollywood, but actors and actresses of all ethnicities and minority groups. It's the fact that the fact that a movie with this cast set in this atmosphere can do as well as it has done already. You'd have to think that these Marvel executives and all these other Hollywood executives are going through all of the scripts that they've received over the years to see, man, how can we get in on some of this Black Panther energy? What do we have that can also tap into the energy and excitement around minority characters? like we're seeing in this. And I think they're probably looking at ways that they can fund more of these Black directed movies with the hopes of finding another breakthrough like this, or even similar to this, or maybe not even as similar in terms of the money, because that feels unrealistic. But just the fact that the level of success is possible is something that I think they did not think could be done before now. So
it's been a good couple years for Black people in film in general.
Yep.
Yeah.
You had Black Panther. You had Get Out a year ago.
Moonlight, Girls
Trip did them.
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. There's success, and then there's like banking $1 billion, right? And, and now Hollywood knows that minority focused films can bank $1 billion. All of a sudden, hopefully, that's going to mean that new opportunities that may not have been funded before will be funded going forward.
Word.
And just as a side note, I like how F. Gary Gray turned Straight Outta Compton into being able to direct the Fast and the Furious series.
Right?
I never thought about that. Dang. Huh.
I'm slightly pessimistic on Hollywood, learning from this, taking the right thing from this, because it's Hollywood and it's a bunch of old white people, mostly men. So I don't know. I still think they're going to half-ass it. Like, they're going to put like a minority lead surrounded by gaggles of like white castmates, directed by an unknown white guy, and they're going to hope that it works that way. That's just my feeling, because I have no belief in Hollywood, let alone the country that it's from. So that's just me.
I agree.
I just don't see Hollywood as an entity going, hey guys, it's amazing what happens when we let Black people do Black shit. Like, I think they're gonna go, hey guys, if we put a minority in the lead, we'll make money and keep everything else white as fucking Portland, and then that's what they're gonna do, and they're gonna be like, oh, it's not working. Black people, like, minorities don't sell movies, and we're gonna right back to the old way of just having a bunch of random white dudes who've never been in a movie before helm a $200 million movie, and you're like, what the fuck? I just feel that's gonna happen.
That's the most likely conclusion, but we can hope.
Yeah, I hope
that
that
they draw a different conclusion from this.
Yeah, I think the thing with Black Panther and a lot of the other movies you mentioned is that they were Black-led movies. They were
right.
Not just the cast and the director and the writers were Black, but the people behind the scenes doing the cinematography, doing the lighting, the makeup. They learned a specific way how to light dark skin, which is great. And still got John Boyega, like, he sweating like crazy in the last Star Wars movie for whatever reason. But yeah, it's just like when you have that actual like backing from minorities or whatever, then you can actually make moves. You just can't like you only get lucky with like minority led movies every once in a while. Rush Hour did good because you had fucking Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker, and during the 90s or whatever, and you had Brett Ratner in the back. Despite having Brett Ratner in the back, it was a good movie. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that was like a lightning bolt. And it struck twice. It didn't strike 3 times, but it struck twice, and it did pretty well or whatever, because they were minority movies at the end of the day, because the white characters were barely even a thing. Mm-hmm. But I mean, and you saw that a lot during the 90s as well. There's a lot of Black-led films and movies or whatever, and it just kind of fell off because I guess a few Black movies did bad or whatever, and it went, let's go to our white shit. So I don't know. That's the whole thing with Hollywood. They do that.
The battle for representation feels generational in that we had Denzel and we had Will Smith, and even Jamie Foxx had a run.
Yeah,
and it feels like Hollywood only allows a certain number of those positions to be available.
Right.
And the ones who could change that are the people like Coogler and
Ava DuVernay.
The people who have like the undeniable talent. Mm-hmm. The people who take seats from other people who aren't going up for a position, but they're like, no, I'm the best at doing this,
right,
and that's why I'm going to do it. And it takes that kind of talent, sadly, to really make more room for representation in these in these fields. Yeah. Because it does feel like Hollywood only trusts Will Smith and Denzel to carry a movie as a leading man, as a leading black man.
Oh yeah, there's so
And it
many
takes-
studies shown on that. Like it's literally they only trust those two with the fucking.
And even then, that's falling off too because
They're getting old as hell, man.
they're getting old, and
Yeah.
their movies aren't as good. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Fences was good, but Will Smith's last couple of
I mean,
movies,
that's Will
dog?
Smith just being stupid.
Yeah.
I think Will Smith just stopped giving a fuck. He's like, yo, just put me in anything, fam. Like, I'm bored.
Because now Denzel's doing his retirement
Yeah.
tour with the roles he picks, which is fine. Like he's at that age,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And there's just not really Hollywood wasn't propping anyone up to replace Denzel or Will Smith. And then like dudes like John Boyega and Daniel Kaluuya just kind of make a name for themselves.
Right.
It's like they just work in like in the edges of the industry, and they just catch a lucky break and they get in. Like Daniel Kaluuya was in Get Out a year ago, and now he's in fucking Black Panther. Like what a fucking crazy.
He just like
12
won an
months.
award, and I don't know what the exact award. I know he is like an award winner now. So it's like that's dope
Yeah,
as
something
fuck.
about British. I forgot what it's called.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah, they're doing their thing, man. You know, Boyega's in what, Pacific Rim and Star Wars and stuff, and he was in like in Detroit too, and this like last year.
Yeah.
They doing work, man. Nah, that's dope. So and Tiffany Haddish doing her thing too. She about to get on the Netflix TV show. I'm pretty sure she got a lot of stuff down the pipeline. It's like that's dope.
Yeah.
I can see Denai doing more stuff out of The Walking Dead now after that role.
Hopefully,
she had
man,
in
because
the
she
show.
deserves it.
Yeah.
Definitely. You know, it's just like Sonequa is one of the headliners of Star Trek from Walking Dead. The guy Tyler, can't think of his name. Well, the guy who played Chris or whatever, he's starting to do a lot more background stuff. I'm noticing, like writing and directing. So I'm like, damn, we got another one. So it's just like there's a lot of talent out there, and it just needs to be put on display. And Black Panther was like the best example of just black talent on display. Period.
I would
Like
probably the biggest.
Oh, definitely the
right?
biggest. I mean, look at the fucking numbers.
Yeah, it's like the
Dude, because what's his name? I forget the guy's name. He's an executive at Marvel, but he was getting pushback for
Kevin
trying to
Feige.
pass the 200 million budget. Yeah.
he-
So he's over there moonwalking
I
on.
wish they had. I wish they
Oh.
had pushed the 200 budget so that they could fix some of that CG.
I mean, I would probably say a lot of that's not even from budget. That's just the shitty company they chose. Because like Spider-Man: Homecoming was filmed on a similar budget, and their CG was amazing. But that was done
Yeah.
in-house by Sony. Like whoever,
Sony. Yeah, Sony always.
Sony needs to
CG's
just
always
basically
been
be like,
good.
"Yo, we will contract our shit out for other
Yeah.
people because y'all are trash." But then again, I don't know if that CG company for Black Panther was black. So I mean, maybe
No, it was.
knows?
I believe it was the same company that did Homecoming. So maybe they had
no,
less.
because Sony's company did Homecoming. Sony Imaging did Homecoming.
I can't remember. I remember reading something about it, and the company that worked on it, and some conversation about how sometimes there's limited amount of time, and multiple companies working on these sorts of special effects, and just sort of is what it is at the end.
I mean, as long as it ain't Justice League, we're good.
I respect that.
Justice League was pretty terrible in every respect.
That gif of the Flash running always makes me smile.
Dope, dog, I don't understand.
When the TV show looks better than a movie, dog, that just bothers me. Like that bothers me so much. Like no,
You guys don't like Cyborg?
That was terrible too.
That was very unfortunate.
DC's really been trying to push Cyborg for his entire existence, basically.
since New 52, they've been pushing him like
Like,
crazy.
we got a black
because of the
hero,
Teen Titans
guys.
TV show.
We've got a black hero.
We got Black Lightning. We good.
Please.
We got Black Lightning. We good.
Watch him.
Good.
He's black. What more do you want from us?
Yeah, people would rather have fake black Martian Manhunter.
John is black, man. He's just a black Martian. That's all that is.
It happens.
They'd rather-
Yeah, the struggles,
yeah,
the
Martian
struggles,
Man.
like universe wide.
It's universal.
Like, damn, dude. Yeah, they push him way too much, and they just made him leader of the Justice League in the last comic.
Because he's
So
a
it's like, okay.
trash ass character. He's so fucking terrible. It's a nigga like who's 80% metal. He looks stupid. Like nobody wants to associate with him, yo. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, what is his powers? He talks to computers. Like, oh, so he's basically electric based. Okay, cool. Another one. Like, thank you guys. We don't have enough black niggas. We don't have enough niggas with electric powers. Like, another one.
Oh yeah, I remember when Laura got announced for Street Fighter V or whatever. Like, damn, another one.
Y'all ever get tired of making black folks with electric
right.
powers? Like, can y'all be creative? Don't want to take that much.
Take Storm.
Another one.
Yeah, man. Black Lightning is dope. So, cool, I guess. Yeah, Black Panther is a phenomenon now, man. There's been memes for the past weeks or whatever, man. It's just amazing. I like it. It's a cultural phenomenon that I haven't seen with a movie like this ever. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like almost everybody is in on the joke, except those who haven't seen the movie yet.
And the
They get mad.
And
Hoteps. Bro, Hoteps are really out there right now. They just going at it right now. Like, damn, this movie was really great when the Hoteps out here writing think pieces with actual coherent sentences and shit. You're like, yo. Like, they're really upset. Like, yo, Egypt's not in this movie. Wake up. Like, nigga, you're not Egyptian. You're not even 0.0001% Egyptian. Like, get off of Egypt, fam. Like, there's a whole fucking 50 other countries sub-Saharan that you can fucking be a part of, fam. Let go of Egypt.
Never. They'll never let go.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, has anything regarding the reaction that you've seen, let's say across the internet or even personally, has any of it surprised you?
A little bit. For me personally, like, I've seen people who African immigrants who normally look down upon the entire everybody else, and like even they're like, yo, this movie is really dope. Like, I know this one, I don't really know him, but he was like back home, he was looking at snaps and things like that. He's like, there were so many lines in Nigeria and things like that for the movie. And I'm like, yeah, because it speaks to the entire diaspora, like diaspora.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, there's literally something there for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, this is like really amazing. And then what really bothered me, but at the same time, like, that's dope, was he's like, I'm so proud to be black. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Because just all of a couple of weeks ago, you looked down upon the idea of black people in general, not just African Americans, but anybody who considers themselves black. Now you're happy to be part of the crew. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let that go, because maybe you've seen the light and the error of your ways, and you realize that we have more in common than we do, than we don't. But I'm going to come back on this subject later on when the whole Black Panther phenomenon wears off a little bit, and we're going to talk about this. Okay, we're going to talk about this.
That's a good point, because I had a coworker. I didn't even this guy working men's shoes with me or whatever, cool dude or whatever. He's a little, you can tell he got a little what's the word? A little surfer dude in him, say, for athletes. But it surprised me. I talked to every other black person at my job, every other black male at my job about Black Panther. Everybody was hyped, and for some reason I never talked to him. But a coworker of mine, she was like, "Have you talked to such and such about Black Panther?" Like, nah, why? What's up? He said he don't understand why everybody's so hyped for it. And I was like, oh no. And I was like, oh no. He said, why? He said, I don't know why everybody getting so hyped dressing up as Africans. It's not your culture and stuff. And I was like, oh no.
Oh wait.
Oh no. And I was like, I said, I should have saw this coming. But it's just like, damn, dude. And I'm guessing he's not the only one. You know what I mean?
So what did you tell Josh?
Josh.
I'm just guessing.
Nah, his name ain't Josh. I haven't talked to him about the movie. I kind of don't want to, because I feel like I know where that conversation is going to go. And
you do have to work with him.
Not really. He's like in men's. I'm in women's, so it's like, I really don't have to say shit about it. You know what I mean? But it was just like, damn, dude, like, do you not, like, and he said this before he saw the movie, so I was guessing, all right, maybe he ain't seen the movie yet, because they talk exactly about in the movie, and they kind of relate that message about how separate we actually are, and how, but at the same time we're similar. We're all kind of just we're all in this together, in a sense, you know what I mean? But we're still.
I mean,
separate.
Killmonger even drops that line about everyone coming from Africa.
Yeah, so it's like that was touching the movie, but then he said he saw the movie and then still didn't get it. So I was like, oh yeah, my guy's lost, man. That's not my fight anymore. Like I can't, I can't, and I won't try to justify this movie's hype for anybody. I can't, and I won't, because I feel like it's not my place, for one, and two, I feel like if that's the way you're thinking at this point. I feel like either you're just hyperversion, like you have a strong case of hyperversion, which people do have. Like I met a whole bunch of people like, I'm not seeing that movie. It's like weeks on, a few weeks after the hype dies out. I'm like, okay. And I get it, but it's just like at the same time, it's just like, it's something about it don't feel right. It just feel like you're really just you're so averted to hype that you would not take in the culture that this movie is bringing out. You know what I mean? This is its own culture. Like everybody's in on it, and not on like no fad shit or whatever, but just more like everybody, like including people from Africa and African Americans and Black Americans. We're all in on it, and even the Black Brits, every Black people across the globe are part of this culture that is Wakanda. That's pretty much what this movie has birthed. It's like a new look on Blackness as a whole globally, and the fact that you don't want in on that is just kind of sus to me. I'm like, all right, dog. I don't want to try to convince nobody otherwise, because I feel like if that's the way you're thinking right now, you don't get it, and I don't think you're ever going to get it. It's not my place. It's kind of sad, but it's like you're gonna get folks like that, and that's where the hoteps come from too. You know what I mean? So that's what also got me too. I was like, oh, this nigga's like some slick hotep shit, ain't he? I feel you, but yeah, that's one reaction. Everybody else has been positive though. Even like the white guy at my job, he did the whole Wakanda salute thing. And I was like, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, dog, but go ahead. Let me just go on about my day. But yeah, it's been. I'm enjoying the culture, man. I really am. I love it.
I mean, because of Black Panther, I've seen more people from various, subcultures, for lack of a better word, within the Black diaspora who communicate now than they ever have prior to this movie, and I think that's pretty lit. Like I always say, I've been saying lately that, Black Panther's basically Pan-Africanism made into a movie form. And like people who look at it, like there's like something that clicks and they're like, oh, like that's what it's like, this is what it's about. Like this feeling, this moment that we are all sharing in, like we are listening to a conversation that is for us, and only we can understand this conversation, and everybody else, they just, they are privileged to listen to the conversation, but it's not a conversation for them or aimed at them. And it's a once in a lifetime movie, to be honest. Like, I don't think that we're ever going to get all of the pieces that were created to make this movie to happen and fall in place again. I just don't think it's going to happen like that.
Yeah, it's a once in a it's like a once in a lifetime event. Unless Coming to America was like that back then, I guess maybe it's like the only one I could relate to this movie in any kind of sense when it comes to like success, and then when it comes to like just showing the complete Black spectrum in a sense, you know what I mean? Just thinking back on that movie, that's it. It's like what can you do after Coming to America on a comedy end, and then on a more dramatic end with Black, big budget, dramatic action in with Black Panther. It's like, what can you do? It's like, man, you got that. I guess it's in the Black required viewing section, along with that Friday, Boys in the Hood, Black Panther, Get Out. You put it in that required Black viewing section to get it. Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's that's dope that we can just and recently, not just that required viewing section has always been there, but now recently it's getting fuller and fuller, man. I love it. It's getting, and the fact that we got something like Black Panther, we don't have. It's not Spawn. It's not Blade. Good Blade is a good movie. Don't get me wrong. I love Wesley Snipes' Blade, but I don't think it has that cultural impact.
It didn't
have that culture. Yeah, it's just like Wesley Snipes being Wesley Snipes.
It was like, cool. A black hero, or it's a black anti-hero surrounded by a bunch of white people. Like, it doesn't carry the same gravitas as Black Panther does at all. And you know it doesn't, because every right-wing nut job has been talking about, oh, what about Blade? What about Blade? I'm like, what about Blade, fam? It was a movie. Like, what? Okay, cool, you had a black hero in the movie. It's having a hero, but like, you already had that movie. What, are we not allowed to ask for more? Like, fuck out of here.
Oh, I remember clicking on a video yesterday. I saw something about Black Panther, and I thought it was going to be complaining about the white ring idiots or whatever. And it was a right wing video, and I said, nope. Why did you suggest this to me on YouTube? I clicked out of the thing so fast and like clicked on it like, do not interested. Don't put this in any algorithm. Take this shit off. I am not listening to any shit talk unless it's like legit criticism about the movie. I'm not listening to any of that, because all it is just like regurgitated talking points. Anytime black people do anything dope as fuck, it's always some bullshit and like really terrible points about. Just like in nitpicks taken to like the most extreme, like they take in like actual criticisms or whatever, and like and thinking that nitpicks are actual like real criticisms that you can like really break the movie down with. It's like, no, dude, it's just, you just bitching about a black movie being good. Shut the fuck up. Like I'm not having that. I'm not having that energy during this time. This is black. We're at the end of Black History Month. And damn it, this was like one of the best Black History Months ever. Shit, I'm hyped.
It has been.
Yeah,
in years.
Yeah.
Atlanta comes back in March.
Yep.
Dang, as soon as in there, you got some more of that fire, and then A Wrinkle in Time next month too.
Yep.
So it's like, yo, 2018 our year, man. That's it.
Rihanna turned 30. She's still fine as fuck. Black History Month.
Man, I mean,
Black History Month update.
hey, man.
Most of the cast in Black Panther was like 30 and up. I saw
late 20s, like, 30s, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like, and that's another thing too, man. A lot of these actors haven't had their shine. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they're out there, and it's like, yo, you may be like 20, 23, be like me, 25, stressing like, damn, I ain't did shit yet, man. Hey, look, keep at it. And you see where these guys at, you see where people like John Boyega's at, see where Daniel's at. It's just like, yo, just take your time, dude. Don't put a timestamp on this shit. Just do it.
20s is the new 30s is the new 20s, man.
Ryan Coogler's 30, man. I'm fucking inspired, dog. I've been.
Yeah. I mean, you should be.
If I had to be, I am. I'm super inspired.
Like Coogler made Fruitvale Station when he was 30, Creed when he was 31, this at 32. Mm-hmm. Like, yo, it's never too late. You know what I mean? As long as you never give up. The moment you give up, that's when you fucked up. And that's when you got old. Like, you let your dream die.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people always look at these young cats as successful as the fucking norm. And it's like, that's really not, though. Like, I would probably say, like, on average, vast majority of people who've ever achieved any amount of success in this country have been late 20s, early 30s. Like, that's your real prime time, in my opinion. Because, I mean, like, even if you take the stereotypical American dream trajectory of going to college and all the other shit, like, you graduate at 18 from high school, you go to college for 4 years, you're now 22. What they're basically telling in society is you got 8 years to become like monumentally successful before you hit 30 and you're magically quote unquote old. And it's like, even then, 8 years ain't really enough time for most people, because some people go back to school for another 2 to 4 years. So now you've only got 4 years to make it. And it's just like, yo, like, this idea of trying to achieve, success before 30 is honestly stupid as shit. Especially when you, when you like start realizing, like, number one, you got new studies coming out saying, that we as humans, we don't even fully mature until 25. But basically, it pushes back the entire notion of everything that all the preconceived notions of what it means to be a successful adult and all these things. And it's like, yo, look at Michael B. Jordan. You know what I mean? Like this man didn't start really getting on to his late 20s, early 30s. You got Chadwick Boseman. That nigga is 41, putting in mad work. You know what I mean? Like he didn't start getting on to his late 30s, early 40s. Like, you know, Denai, she's late 30s, early 40s. That's when she started getting on. It's like this idea that, oh, you know, I'm not, you know, financially secure or successful and I'm 28, my life is over. Let me go, you know, this is worthless. That's just complete garbage, man. It's stupid.
It really is an earnest, good feeling to see something like this do well. And you know what? I want to see, like kind of what Dreams was getting out. I want to see stuff like Coco being done live action or whatever. I want to see Hispanic heritage films done well. I want to see, you know, I don't want to see Jared Leto be a fucking lead in a fucking Yakuza film or whatever. I want to see a real ass Yakuza film or whatever.
I don't know why.
Like somebody said.
I don't know who the fuck approved that. Like that's like the white privilege that people don't understand. Because like if any other group were to make a movie like that in which they, you know, the main character is not of that people and he, you know, blends in, that shit would not get greenlit at all. Like no other group can do that. And
the sad thing is, you could take like if you want to do the fish out of water story, get a Asian American, a Japanese American or whatever, go back home or whatever to see his family. He get tied up in the Yakuza. That's easy. That's all you have to do if you want to do a fish out of water story. This stuff writes itself. But no, you gotta get Jared Leto. Get the fuck out of here.
It's not only like on top of that, it's the fact that that is seen as something that's realistic and normal. And it's like, what? Like, nigga, he doesn't speak any Japanese. Like, he went to a country where they all speak Japanese, and in the whole film, nobody speaks Japanese. Like, dog, y'all gotta be like, come on now. Like, a random white dude just walks in and it's like, yo, I want to be a Yakuza. And they're like, okay, cool. Yeah, you win. Bam, bet. Like, what up? Like, you remember now. Like, dog, actual Japanese people have a tough time becoming Yakuza, but this random white dude from like fucking Boise, Idaho becomes Yakuza. Like, okay.
Boise, Idaho.
Bro, like the white privilege in film and the creative aspect of film is just excuse me, it's so ingrained in society and people don't realize it, you know, because I saw some people complaining like, oh, you know, Black Panther, like Wakanda's not a real place. Black Panther, like none of this makes sense. Like, and they're like, oh, you know, making these films, why can't they make a film about a real place? And it's like, dog, we've had 3 films about fucking Thor, or like a thoroughly white fucking hero based on Scandinavian fucking shit in a fictional land, and nobody's complaining. Like, you have a whole TV show called Game of Thrones. That shit does not take place in any real place. It's Westeros. That shit's not real. Nobody complains. But the minute Black people want a fantasy setting, you know what I mean, y'all bug the fuck out, reminding us that it's not real. Like, yo, use that same energy on your own properties, fam. Like, if you're going to come at us like that, just remember, the galaxy far, far away, that shit ain't real either. But y'all don't do that. Y'all dress up as your little fucking Wookiees and shit like that, your little lightsabers. Y'all run around, fucking hit each other with your little lightsabers and shit. But hey, we let y'all live y'all truth. Y'all gonna let us live ours, damn it.
Ooh-wee.
Oh man, Angelus.
You know what?
I feel them, dog. I feel that shit. Go ahead, Dreams. What's up?
I was going to say, but just before we moved off of Black Panther, I wanted to ask you guys if there were any moments in or around the film that put you in your feels.
For me,
and why?
Okay, for me, when Killmonger or Eric was talking with, he had his vision and he saw his father. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, like, who's cut these damn onions? Like, cause you're a bitch. Like, I had to fight the tears. I was like, oh fuck. And it was for me, it was multiple reasons. Like, number one, you know, like obviously the fact that his father wasn't there for him, and that's a major one. It's like the Will Smith moment, really. And then not only that, like he brought up the fact that he's like, you know, his father was from this place and he never got to know that place himself, you know, like I'm pretty sure so many Black people in the theater were able to relate to that, you know, like he heard about this wonderful place from his father, you know, in the same breath, we as Black folks, we hear about all these wonderful countries in Africa from books and things like that. But there's that disconnect because we're not part of that. You know what I mean? And for me, it hit me extra hard because I took my ancestry DNA and I was like a little pissed. I was like, yo, I really don't know shit about any of these countries. I really want to fight some people. Matter of fact, I don't even hate white people no more. Now I hate everybody else. Like, yo, I want reparations from everybody at this point. Like, it had me really in my feels. I was just like, damn, man, I'm really sad now.
A little black boy from Compton believing in
Yeah, I was just like, damn. The fact that they used Sterling Brown, so I was like, yo, this man is an amazing actor, but I can't really fuck with this right now. Like, I'm about to just go turn my head from the screen real quick.
That acting in that scene was amazing, dude. Like, I love subtle acting so much. Like, I love the fact that the dad didn't validate his son, but he didn't encourage him either. You know, he not encourage, but like try to bash him or take him down. Like, no, you shouldn't be doing it. It was just a moment of understanding. It was like, so that's it. That's what it is. And Killmonger was like, well, that's what that shit is. And it's just like, oh well, shit. You know, it was just a moment, and it was strong. It was like, god damn, shit, kind of thick in here. Okay. God,
that line too, man. So he's like, what's up, man? No tears from me. People die every day. I was like, damn. I was like, well,
yeah, man.
If you watch that film and you're black, chances are high there was something that you could take away. It doesn't matter where you're from. Like, some part in that little scene you were able to take away. I was just like, well, I'm pretty much just exhausted now. Like, I'm mentally exhausted from this movie. Like, I'm emotionally exhausted. I can't do this anymore. There needs to be some action or something.
This y'all king? The fun thing is, immediately after that, that's where you got the whole, when I say something, I mean that shit. So you got the really good emotional moment, and then you got him going straight off the edge.
Bro was like a complete, he gave no fucks about anybody, yo.
None.
Dead ass shot his girlfriend like 3 times in the chest. She's like, I'm sorry. Pop, pop, pop. I was like, damn. Didn't you just kiss on her? Yeah. I thought you loved this girl.
No, man. That was his little side piece. That was his part.
It wasn't even a side piece. That was target practice.
To answer Dream's question, I have the same answer as Angelus. The scene where he goes to the ancestral plane and talks to his dad kind of messed me up. And it really resonated with me because I'm a second generation, and my dad came to America when he was a kid. So it's like, I remember growing up and asking my dad, like, yo, what's it like? And he was like, nah, ask your grandma. I don't know. You know? So it's like, it's weird growing up in America, kind of with your feet in 2 different cultures and not being really to 100% relate to either one of them, and each one of them kind of condemning the other half of you.
Yeah.
So like that part, and then on the second viewing, the beginning of the movie, when I realized that Sterling K. Brown was narrating the story, I was like, oh shit, he's talking to his son.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Sterling K. Brown's narrating the intro of Wakanda's history.
I watched that shit twice. I still didn't pick that up. Damn.
Yeah, as soon as I heard it, I was like, is that? I had to bite my lip. This shit's too sad.
That's layers, man. I think for me, it was like immediately after I got home, and I just took the whole movie in. Because honestly, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. I was so, because I'm a late reactor to stuff. It takes a minute for stuff to really hit me. So when I got the movie, I didn't really know how to feel. I'm like, did I enjoy that? Did I like it? And it's like, as soon as I got in my driveway, like I literally had like a tear fall down my eye, dog. Because I'm like, because it's not just the movie in itself, but it's something that arena, that film arena, I really want to be in it. And it's just like, this motherfucker Ryan Coogler did this to me with Creed too. After I saw Creed, I was like so inspired, and I was like, yes, this is exactly what the fuck I want to do in my life. This is what I want to do. Man, I'm telling you, this motherfucker did it again. Like, it's like that was a whole, like, had like a bump, like a wave of inspiration. Like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that. And I sat there, like, I didn't even go inside the house. I was like just outside the door in the dark, like 12 a.m. or whatever, just sitting there. It's like, son of a bitch, I want to do this shit. I really want to do this. And I'm thinking, like, I cannot be the only one that feels like this, you know? and it circled back to representation or whatever, and how people were kind of like downplaying the representation aspect of the movie or whatever because it's done by Disney, it's not a revolution. It's like that shit don't matter, dude. Like if a kid who got flunked out of school, don't know what he really want to do with his life or whatever, sees a movie and it just like completely inspires him and makes him and encourages him to keep going despite all the other bullshit in his life, despite, whatever issues he may have. If it continues to push him and do something, then it did its job. That's all it needs to do. It doesn't have to be a full on revolution. It doesn't have to turn over the capitalist, system or anything like that. It just has to be the kindle that starts the fire in the first place, and a new generation of kids. And when I thought about that, I thought about the last scene with T'Challa before they went to the end credits or whatever. When the kid goes up to him and says, "Who are you?" and T'Challa smiles. I was like, "Damn, Coogler, fuck." Like it's just like it just resonated with me, like just like almost spiritually, and it was just like, dude, this is something else. It's a lot more than I thought it was going to be.
You know what? I am right there with you, and in fact, there are two aspects for me personally that touched me in general. One, which is very much related to what you're talking about here, that the moment when at the end, when they're talking about opening up centers and, the children are for the first time, getting a taste of what Wakanda's technology is and what Wakanda is, reminded me of something that I used to do a lot more, that I have over the years sort of fallen off on doing. With other members in my fraternity, we used to do a lot of tutoring, elementary school kids, junior high school kids, high school kids. We used to go around being much more of a presence and much more of an influence, or at least me personally. I'll just speak on behalf of myself, because maybe my brothers have been continuously doing all of those things, but I have not. And I remember a number of times when I would go in and I would be speaking to the junior high schoolers, oftentimes even the high schoolers, and they would be amazed because they were not used to being exposed to people of our age that are successful, that are doing things in college. At the time, I was on a national officer for the National Society of Black Engineers, and just your presence, all it takes sometimes to inspire, to influence, is for you to simply be there, right? Just to simply be present, be a light, right? And so I took that scene in, and I thought about, in retrospect, about the fact that I used to be T'Challa in that scene. I used to be that guy that was always looking to be an influence and a light for underprivileged kids that aren't used to seeing Black folk in college, that aren't used to seeing Black folk being successful and moving down that STEM path, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and being able to be that and talk about that and talk about how to succeed, how to get through the rest of junior high school, how to get through the rest of high school, how to get through college. All of those things are important. And I think one of my takeaways was to get back into the rhythm of doing that again, and finding, a part of it was because I relocated, so sort of away from my connections and that kind of thing. I sort of fell off, but I'm sure it won't be very difficult for me to find a place that needs some tutors to come and volunteer either. So I am going to get back into that. I look forward to doing so. And I feel bad for not having been as involved as I should have been for so long. The other thing is something that always sort of happens to me personally when I see Africa, right? And this is also something that I have talked with Angelus about in the past. But last summer, I was attending a wedding for one of my fraternity brothers. He is a second generation Ghanaian, and at the wedding, his soon-to-be wife, who became his wife, of course, she was also Ghanaian, and so they had these very interesting cultural rituals and traditions and things that they were doing in the run-up to the wedding and during the wedding ceremony, and it was all just sort of awesome, right? And it was beautiful to observe, to see how different family members had different roles, and grandparents had specific things they had to do and say at the wedding, and the parents and the siblings, so on and so forth. And it was amazing, right? And then I think about me just sort of this, this Black American, just your typical son of the slaves, or descendant of the slaves, I should say, Black American, and how we don't have any of those traditions. We don't have the sort of connection that goes back, the ancestors and all of these different libations and prayers and things. We don't have it. And so in retrospect, I thought about the fact that I had on my Made in Mali scarf. Man, I probably don't have any connection to Mali. Right, we got the brothers with the dashikis and the kente cloth. We all just so hungry. We all searching for that connection, right? So much so that a superhero movie makes us feel better about it. Makes us feel wanted or some place to belong, because we all so hungry to belong. And it's part of the thing that I feel like people, especially white people, necessarily on the internet, don't understand when we draw references to sphinxes and pyramids and some of these other sort of more prominent, more common African motifs and symbols and traditions and things. It's because we don't oftentimes know where to start. We don't oftentimes have anywhere to start. We have a void. At a certain point, we go back a certain number of generations, and then shit just disappears for us. And so I always sort of get put in my feels when I see the motherland, when I see even a fictional motherland, but when I see the motherland, when I see my beautiful brothers and sisters, African brothers and sisters that are, in their traditions, and how they were getting ready for the ceremony to crown the king, and they had the music going, and they had their shoulders going, and it was just like, I can feel this shit, but I don't have that. All we got is jumping brooms. You know what I'm saying? And whatever we've built since then, but that's it. And that I feel like that always affects me. It affected me post watching the movie. It affects me when I think back to that wedding. It affects me when I think about all of these things. When I think about, am I going to send in my test to Ancestry DNA or somebody like that to try to get some more connection or more understanding of connection?
Don't do it, man. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. The void that forms in your heart when you get the results.
I was going to say what Dreams was saying about that hunger for a connection to your roots. It makes me think of that scene where Killmonger is in the museum, and he takes that African mask. He doesn't know where it's from. He doesn't know its meaning or anything behind it. He just likes the aesthetic. So he just co-opts it.
Man.
Layers, man. Kugler with them layers, man.
Yeah, man.
Just like, you can dig deep. Like, I would see a lot of people like, man, you reach you with that, man, with that little analysis. And I'm like, dude, with film, you can go as far as you want to, as long as you're not speaking for the director or the writers or anything like that. Like, director saying, oh, this is what he meant to do. It's like, nah, you don't do that.
Have you seen that video that Kugler made for, I think, GQ, where he breaks down the fight scene in Korea?
Yeah.
No. All I was saying was him talking about Africa.
You guys didn't see that? Yeah. Like the colors that they were all wearing. Yeah, it's really good. Things like that.
Yeah. Oh, he goes really in depth. Yeah. And it really shows you that if you're digging into this movie, there's a lot to be found.
Like on the example of the colors that everybody's wearing, T'Challa's wearing black, Okoye is wearing red, and Nakaya is wearing green, which is the Pan-African colors. And a lot of people didn't catch that. And he's talking about what the color red represent. Yeah, see? and the what red represents within the movie, what green represents, and how they embody both Okoye and Nakia respectively, and how T'Challa. There's like a lot of different things, and it's like how for the Dora Milaje, hair isn't something that they care about, and so for Okoye to do this, it was a point of pride for her that she was doing it, but she hated it, but she did it for a bigger cause than herself. And then when she finally was able to get rid of it, they wanted to symbolize that by her throwing it at somebody, using it as a weapon to show that even when she is in an element that's not, her own, she makes anything around her, she can use it as a weapon. The fact that the spears have symbolic meaning for the Dora Milaje, and they prefer it all over different weaponry. It embodies their fighting style, and then how Naki on the other side, she's more of a spy, so she has like a more a flowing fighting style, and she's all about the disarming and bashing and faces in, and she's the one who would use a gun versus Okoye, who would never use a gun and things like that. And it's just like, yo, this is really dope.
Yeah, my favorite part from that was the innovation versus tradition in Okoye and Okoye's fighting styles, respectively. Yeah, so there's tons and tons.
I really can't wait for the Blu-ray to drop so I can just get the behind the scenes commentary, man.
No, he need to drop that 4-hour version, dog. Let's go. Sit there, the commentary on. Let's do this. Just sit there for 4 hours. Oh, there was a scene that they cut. I heard it's going to be. They said it's definitely going to be in the home release. They said it was a scene between Wakabi and Okoye that would have pit actually right before the final act really got started or whatever. That would have really put more emphasis on their actual relationship. And I was reading, I'm like, bruh, why y'all take that out of everything? Why? I needed that because my mom was like, were they husband and wife? I was like, yeah, I guess maybe. And it kind of would have, because in my opinion, a low point, the nitpick of the movie for me is the last act is kind of fast. It kind of just go when it starts, it just goes or whatever. So I think a little slowing down during that would have kind of made the ending a little flow a little bit better. But it's still a good movie. But it's just dang, y'all took that out. What else did y'all take out? It just kind of got the gears kind of just going dang, they could have took out this. They could have took out some more Killmonger stuff. It just could have been. He probably could have got more emphasis on his girlfriend. He just shot up 3 times. We don't know. Just,
from what I read from the gentleman who scored the movie, who did the soundtrack, the actual soundtrack for the movie, he said he scored a 4-hour movie. So I'm trying to find out where the 4-hour version is, because I need that in my life.
I do too. Where that? I can listen to Kendrick's album weeks on end. But I need the whole experience, man. I wanted to hear King's Dead during the movie. I really did. I really did. I was expecting it too. King's Dead gonna pop up? Oh, I mean, I ain't had to hear Future's part, but Ooh,
his part should have started playing when they were fighting. Also, I like to point out that Killmonger and T'Challa, they were fighting in the Underground Railroad. Huh?
See, that's why I can't take you places.
Just saying that, Coogler actually pointed that out in an interview. He was like, yeah, they fought in the Underground Railroad. Nobody really noticed that. I was like,
damn.
Huh? Layers?
That's a lot of layering.
Might as well just call that nigga Layers. Don't call him Ryan Coogler no more. It's nigga Layers. What up, Layers? What up? Everything I do's got layers.
And then this nigga over here bunt cake deep, dog. What?
All right, so let's finish this up with, let's go around and talk about what your hopes for a sequel.
Damn.
Who wants to go first?
Look,
I'll go first.
Ahead.
I'll keep it short. All right. So for the sequel, I'm torn a little bit on whether or not I even want Coogler to come back.
Whoa.
Because I'm sure he has a lot of stuff that he left unturned. But I'm kind of okay with him just having this as his superhero statement movie. Because it's kind of perfect.
Okay, I can okay with that.
I don't think he really needs to expand on it.
So who would you have come and take his place then?
That's where it gets complicated because I don't know. Because I definitely don't want to see this go to anyone who isn't black. Because that seems like a huge step backwards.
Gigantic step backwards. Might as well just call it Panther.
But that's like my only criteria. Just that hopefully some young black director gets a shot with this franchise.
Because real talk, I'm like hesitating on Creed 2 simply because Ryan Coogler's not directing it. So
he isn't.
No. So that's why I'm hesitant on even watching that movie. It's like I got some trailers and see some work.
I'm probably not going to watch it, to be honest.
Is he involved? Is he involved in the project at all?
I don't know.
He's
no, he didn't write. He didn't do anything. I don't think.
Okay.
So I'm just like, so it's like I don't know if I can do that with Black Panther.
Coogler's in his early 30s. He did his passion project in Fruitvale. He did his first big movie in Creed, and then he got this cultural landmark.
His Titanic, pretty much.
And it kind of feels like the industry is ready to hand him like a blank check to do whatever he wants. And I kind of would rather him follow his passion than do another Black Panther.
Yeah.
I mean, that I don't know if you heard, but I guess him, Michael B. Jordan, and Coates are trying to work on this Atlanta public school story. And I sat there when I read that, like, why the fuck didn't I think about that? I remember living through that. I literally lived through that. It's like, dang, I didn't think about that. That's genius. Like, so I agree with you, Morris. You might not have to come back, dog. You might have to leave that alone.
And I think this franchise the foundation is so solid. And that Marvel does such a good job that they could put a lot of people in that position and it would still be a good sequel. It may not be Coogler standard good, but I still have faith that it could be a good movie.
As long as the script is right.
Yeah, they have, I mean, look at the cast. The cast is amazing.
Yeah.
Like there's not a weak person in the bunch.
Yeah.
No, not one. Not one.
But also remember, Coogler did help on the script, so we're going to need somebody black to write the script too, because I really don't want a white person to write our script. Like next thing you know, T'Challa's like, yo, dog, what's good? Like, yo, a white person wrote this, didn't they? Yeah, damn it.
I think for me, I would like to see in a sequel the more brilliant side of Black Panther on display. Given he's in the top, I don't know. My understanding is he's in like the top 5 of brilliant minds in all of the Marvel universe.
He was in the Marvel version of the Illuminati at one point. So
yeah. So I would, this movie definitely did not highlight or showcase that in any way. So I would like to see that maybe more on display going forward, maybe in the next film.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think the only place we really got a bit of that was Civil War. So that's the only time you really kind of got any, conniving, scheming, kind of like, T'Challa. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'll say they should.
I think.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I just hope that they approach it with. Well, I think the reason why they didn't do it in Black Panther is because they didn't want to, in my opinion, shadow Shuri. Because she's supposed to be that genius, and if you've got T'Challa who's like, yeah, by the way, audience watching, he's just as smart as her, if not smarter, it kind of just devalues her character a little bit. You know what I mean? It takes away that, it takes away like a lot of what makes her funny and like what makes her a pivotal role within the movie. Because it's like, well, how come T'Challa didn't do that, or how come he didn't do this?
Well, I think it's like two different things. Though you can have Shuri do her thing, but T'Challa's genius is kind of like, to use this comparison, it's kind of like Bruce's genius, where they both have this ability to deduct and manipulate people to their own, means and ends or whatever. That kind of genius. Not Shuri just being like a real, just like technical genius or whatever, just more like his manipulative, conniving, like chess master kind of style genius.
I mean, yeah, they can do that. That's fine. Yeah. I mean,
I think that's what Dreams was kind of getting at. Is that style T'Challa?
Mm-hmm. Well, I was saying though in general, because in the comic book, like T'Challa actually is like a technical genius. Like it's not.
Oh, you ain't got it. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah,
that's kind of like why I kind of like Nolan's Bruce Wayne, because like, how the fuck Bruce gonna be a super damn scientist and a detective and the greatest martial artist in the world? Like that shit's fucking ridiculous.
But it did feel like Black Panther's character was kind of weakened, like rounded out.
Yeah.
To kind of showcase the women in the movie.
Yeah.
But it kind of, I was okay with it because he was like a king in transition. Everything was kind of in turmoil. He didn't really have his footing. Like his life is saved by the women in his life multiple times.
Yeah.
And Okoye being the greatest warrior in Wakanda, and Shuri being the greatest scientific mind, and Nakia being the greatest spy. You can't really have T'Challa just like, oh yeah, I'm better at all those things than you guys.
Yeah, yeah. The
It's
implications
like, maybe
of that is just really funny too. It's like, by the way, men are better than women. Like, you really don't want that in your film that's trying to uplift both black men and women.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
like maybe if they show a progression, like him taking the mantle of Black Panther and like learning the ropes and getting there.
Yeah, because I think what I was going to say is that we're going to see King T'Challa like full effect by the next movie. I think when we're going to see that in the next Avengers movie, we're really going to start seeing King T'Challa or whatever, and hopefully it won't be to the expense of the other characters. Like Angelus was kind of getting that. It's like I don't want that because I love the cast so much, like every single one of them, that I wouldn't want that to overshadow it. But I would definitely love to see him kind of just being the badass we first saw him in Civil War when he was kicking Bucky's ass all up and down the runway. Right. You know, just like damn, like he's a threat. The only reason, and I think, but the thing is, I feel like this movie was trying to humanize him a little bit more, and we get to understand his intricacies a little bit more than, you know, because I feel like good superhero movies always show the vulnerabilities of the superhero, but not to a point where it's like, okay, stop complaining, we got you or whatever, to the point where we get apathetic about him. But it was like, no, he's a sensitive, like his dad was saying, you're a good guy, but it's hard for good men to be kings. And that was pretty much the whole lesson between the movie is like, yeah, you're in this position and it's really hard for you to make these decisions. You're going to do some stuff like his father did, you know, and mess up for a lot of people, you know, and get a lot of people killed. Like he basically, his dad basically created Killmonger, you know, and that's a lot of people. And I don't know, you wouldn't know it, but if T'Chaka was still alive, there'll be a lot of bodies on his head, you know, just by creating that problem. So I think this movie is highlighting that aspect of T'Challa, and we get to see his more human side, which I appreciate because we don't really see male characters really just have a healthy amount of masculinity. It's always like that overbearing, like I'm gonna do what I want to do type shit. No, it's like no,
the Killmonger look.
Killmonger, pretty much, pretty much. Like it's like toxic masculinity versus like proper, you know, healthy masculinity, like in the movie. I think that's what they were trying to do. Yeah, you couldn't really have both. It just like a dick swinging contest if they were just
I think what I was thinking more of is the sort of the witty come up with solutions to problems in real time in the middle of the fight.
Yeah.
Sort of a Black
So basically what he did,
like, oh man, he's got to figure out how to solve this. He's on the way, you know, he's going to be there in 5 minutes. He got to come up with a solution. Bam, he came up, he didn't MacGyver something on the way.
So basically what he did at the end of the movie with Killmonger with the vibranium train things over there.
Yeah.
That was smooth. I was like, oh shit. Okay. But Angelus, you want to go? I don't know how much time we got because we've been on this for a minute.
Shit. For me, what I like to see in the sequel is probably say more on Wakanda as a country, like what, you know, they do there. Like obviously like the day-to-days minute stuff that happens within Wakanda. Have the conflict be more internal. You know, like
even more internal.
Yeah, I mean, not so much like on the level of king, you know, an outsider trying to take the crown, things like that. I mean, like the factional issues that they have that arise there. You know, how T'Challa handles that, and like how it will probably be pretty hard. But I imagine that a good writer could like make something out of that. Of, you know, Black Panther having to solve this internal crisis that goes on between two tribes, or, you know, think of something like, you know, how like Batman is like saving Gotham. Have like, you know, Black Panther save like the main city of Wakanda from some kind of internal threat that arises from, either negligence as being king or just something that gets overlooked by the Wakandan society and it invests into something greater.
Yeah. Out there having too much fun with the Avengers. While home
there you go. Like home is in disarray. Type thing.
You were out there with Captain America.
I could use the whole movie with M'Baku and his whole tribe.
Bro, yeah, the Qs, man. They need their own movie. I would probably say a good thing that they could do, because this is something I really, really want to see, is that they could make Black Panther 2, like maybe like the antagonist of Black Panther 2, even be like, Namor, like an Asian American Namor being the like the protagonist for that as a segue to introducing this Asian, an Asian Namor. Like, yo, that would be lit.
Namor would be really interesting, but I feel like they gotta be like the final fucking Black Panther movie though, because that's like it's probably the one of the because their battles or whatever just kind of like destroy half of Wakanda, man. Like,
yeah, but I mean, if it's the final Black Panther, that means at some point T'Challa, the conflict resolution is going to have to tie into a way to end Black Panther and then segue into Namor without making Namor looking overly evil. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. Namor is pretty like,
but he's got to be an anti-hero. He can't be his comic book self anymore because we want to go see it for him. You know what I mean? So if it's the last fight,
you don't have to give him a movie, dog. You can just leave that shit.
No, hell no. He would be that would be a perfect vessel for an Asian American character, man. Because I don't want like something like cliche like Shang-Chi, the fucking Asian martial artist. Like, yo, that's just way too on the nose. Something like Namor, like you can explore so much of the Asian American character being that gets away from all the toxic stereotypes that people associate with Asians in film. So it's like I would love to see that character used as a vessel.
So kind of what they're doing with Aquaman in Justice League or whatever.
Yeah. Not the biggest Jason Momoa fan, but yeah, like he's a good vessel for that character because they've changed it from this blonde hair, blue eyed dude to Jason Momoa, who's native Hawaiian, and it's like they've tied his culture into Aquaman. Like they gave him Hawaiian tattoos, things like that, and tribal tattoos that mean something to Jason personally. And it's like, yo, they transformed this pale Nimbus dude who was boring as hell to something that might be interesting in his own movie.
My nigga name is Arthur Curry.
Yeah, see? That is so pale Nimbus. It's like...
Yeah, I got you.
I trust Disney, whatever they do. I mean, at this point, they've earned the trust. I mean, only movie I thought was trash was Thor 2. That shit was grim dark and it didn't work too well, so...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let them run the gambit. Let's fuck it.
Yeah. At this point, I mean, Marvel doesn't seem to fucking do wrong. I'm even low-key excited for the Carol Danvers movie, and that's saying a lot.
Nah. Like, after Avengers, I think I'm done with Marvel movies. Like, just going just to go, I'm done. I'm not going to go see Miss Marvel. Mm-mm.
You say that now.
No, I'm definitely not going to see. I have no interest in that character at all.
And then Black Panther shows up.
I mean, look, I'll look at it on YouTube.
And Mike will be like, yo, did y'all see Black Panther though?
And that's Black Panther got me excited for Infinity War.
Yeah,
it
really.
Did.
It really
I
did.
really was not that excited for it. I was like, yeah, I gotta go see that obligation because I want to see how this ends or whatever. But this, I'm like, shit, let me see what Wakanda gonna do against Thanos. I want to see that, Not M'Baku's like the general.
Yeah.
Like,
they're not going to do what they did in the comic books with T'Challa, though. That would be lit. For those who don't read the comics, so in the comics, at this point in time, T'Challa becomes King of the Dead, the Necropolis, which is like the under city part of Wakanda, where they rest the bodies of all the past Black Panthers, and he gains the strength of every Black Panther before him. So he becomes like ridiculously powerful. So he starts like basically bodying cats. And the Black Envoy, which is the people who are with, in the comic books, they're not with Thanos, but in the movie, they're going to be with Thanos. One of them comes to Wakanda, and basically T'Challa beats them back like it's nothing. They're not going to do that in the film, but that would be lit as fuck if they did.
I mean, I think, isn't that going to be like split in like 2 movies anyways? Or are they just like...
I have no clue. Some people said that there were going to be 2, but then some people said that they scrapped that. I have no clue. I assume it's going to be 2. Like, I really don't want them to properly introduce Thanos and then at the end of the movie they've resolved it. Like, yeah, we beat him. Like, oh, okay, you did Yeah, you did your Marvel thing again, where you introduce a really powerful character and then he gets beat by the end of the movie with hopes, love, and dreams. Like, wow. So yeah, I hope it's 2-parter.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just glad this movie came out. I gotta go see it again. I think one of the first things I'm doing when I get in my car is go see a movie. Just go. Just like, let me just go get me a ticket. Tickets at the theater I go to are mad cheap. Run by it. And then just go see it, just enjoy it, and kind of enjoy it in solitude this time instead of like just with a crowd.
And I think that about wraps up this episode. Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever.
May the sun never set on that on that country, man, on that empire.
Mm-hmm. All right, you a Brit now, dog.
He says that in the movie.
And the layers of him quoting
British colonizer.
The great colonizing country.
Like he literally says in the movie for a reason.
Yeah.
Oh, and also someone pointed out how the title of the movie is Black Panther and not The Black Panther, which could be in reference to Killmonger or T'Challa.
Look.
Or maybe the Black Panthers. They didn't want to be associated with the Black Panthers. You know how white people are.
They're saying that was partially some of the motivation to make Killmonger from Oakland, besides Coogler being a big Oakland guy, since they had such a big Black Panther presence.
Interesting.
Coogler he's a pretty cool dude. Like the fact that he doesn't even code switch. I love that about that man. I'm like, I'm trying to get to that point in my life where I don't have to code switch for anybody. Just be talking how I normally talk.
Yeah, I realized like. Hey, he ain't doing nothing to code, but he just like, yo, man, so I went to Africa to eat these watermelons, man. I was like, damn, that Marshawn Lynch coming out strong as fuck. Let's go.
It did.
In like 30 years, he's going to talk like E40.
No.
Like, tell us about Black Panther. Well, Black Panther was the best movie. Like, damn.
Y'all need to go somewhere, man.
SoWellSpoken.com.
Subscribe to our newsletter.
You got a newsletter now?
No. We barely have a podcast.
The tweets are the newsletter.